Hey everybody. I have on clothes. I have on a dress, so it just didn't look like it. Doesn't look like I do have on clothing. I wanted to talk to you about the reason why empaths have such a hard time, and some of the stuff that I just ain't gonna do. Me and Shadow was sitting up here, and we were talking about how even though we are workers and stuff like that, we don't watch horror movies. We don't watch movies where people are being torn apart or being eaten. There's only a few demon possession movies that I can roll with. You know?
Because they get too gory.
Not just that. They get too real. Because, I was talking about that in Work 101 last night, that if you tell, I'm in my kitchen tonight, you guys, if you tell somebody something is fake enough, they'll believe you. They'll tell you it's fantasy, so you don't believe it's real. Kind of like what Kat did with Paulo this week, or last week. The thing is there's a lot of stuff that's really real in some of the things we watch. We started off with the conversation because my best friend is watching Gerald's Game, and that's one of the books I put down. I put down Stephen King books when the characters are completely trapped, like Misery, Cujo, and Gerald's Game. And I don't like to watch something when somebody doesn't have a fighting chance. I think that also has a lot to be with being black. Because you know what it's like on a daily basis not to have a fighting chance compared to the people who are around you. I'm like, shit, if I gotta die, if you gonna chase me with a goddamn machete or some claw hands, can I at least get a running motherfucking start? Seriously. So I don't watch stuff like that. We keep asking ourselves every time you see something like what's happened in Las Vegas, and yes, he's a terrorist. He ain't misunderstood. He was never a nice man. He was just a very good actor. But when you see people doing things like this and you keep asking yourself, oh, well, why? Why, hi everybody. Why would this person do something like that? Look at the stuff that we allow into our brains. Look at the stuff that we watch. I'm not a Christian, so I'm not by any means like Chipper Gore or something like that. And for you youngins, just go look her up. Look up Luke and the Two Live Crew, Skywalker and the Two Live Crew too, and then you go, what? Man, they think they rap is nasty. That's another thing. Y'all think y'all rap is nasty. My first rap song I ever heard was Rap Dirty. It was very disturbing. There's a couple things that were disturbing about it. My mother let us listen to it once a day. Okay? Why? I don't have any idea, because this is 1980, so I'm 11 years old maybe. And there's a disturbing scene where the guy finds out that the prostitute he's with is a transvestite, and when he describes like beating this prostitute. Okay? Y'all talk about rap music now. Rap Dirty was the first thing I ever heard outside of a message. Because that was really, to me, the real first rap song I heard. Don't push me, okay? Because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. So we have people walking around like that, okay? And we have people who have already went over that edge. But Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, when you see this stuff that they pump, we don't have that stuff in my house. We have video games, I don't even know how to turn it on. And I'm very technical. I can take a computer apart and put it back together again. But I don't mess around with game systems. It went from, Street Fighter, where I knew we were getting bad, because Street Fighter was fun. You get to fire and do all kinds of imaginary things. But then, oh God, we will not talk about snuff videos. We will not talk about snuff videos. Because that's on the edge of the edge. And most people don't see those. Okay? But they don't need to. Because what you have to understand is that there's enough here to keep us as really depraved as we want to be. And I'm not talking about kinky. You can whip who you want to, eat what you want to, pee on who you want to. That's unless somebody is being done to them unwillingly. I I don't have any issues with that. But there's some real sick, depraved shit, and it goes into our movies. And let's not, for me, it doesn't even have to be what I know. I don't understand how it's entertaining. Okay? I don't understand how some things are sexually exciting. I don't get it. But it happens. But the thing is I'm just talking about the stuff that's out here for general consumption, the utter baseness of the way people behave. So for me, a horror movie is the help. I was just telling Shadow, she was like, oh, but it was good. No, it ain't. Nah, they ain't shit good about watching black domestic workers being mistreated by white people. There's nothing good about that. I watched Beasts of the Southern Wild. I watched, what's the story about the bees? The Secret Life of Bees. Mm-hmm. And while it had some stuff, it had moments of some stuff. But that was like, it told a real life story. It talked about difficult circumstances. And it still was good. And it wasn't all happy. You know, that level of depravity that I see in some of this stuff is just crazy. Or else the white savior. That's why I never watched Amistad. I had a white man tell me, I got a master's degree in English with a concentration in black literature. And at some point in my life, I'm going to go back and get a PhD here at Ohio State. Why I moved to Ohio. But that man tell me that I had to watch Amistad. I had to watch it in order to learn my history. He got deleted and blocked. After, he got cussed full the entire fuck out. Okay? Let's keep it real here. But just like food, and I ain't even gonna bullshit. Y'all saw me in line at McDonald's the other day. I do understand the value of eating certain foods and eating certain ways, and I most definitely try to do that most of the time. But, you think about all these people who's like talking about some Dr. Sebi and they sneaking off to McDonald's and ain't nobody looking. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not even gonna try to fake that funk. I'll eat good most of the time, and then the rest of the time, it be what it be. So, because we all die. Some of us can rush that much more quickly than others, but, it's like, just like you consume all the wrong food, your body's going to do all the wrong things. You can't constantly eat all the wrong food and your body not start to do all the wrong things. Like that guy was talking about supersize me. That's why I get a salad if I go to McDonald's usually. Okay? There's no place you can get fast food that is good for you. BB Bop is okay. It's all right. Chipotle, But the lines are usually wrapped outside the door, and all of them. But back to the things that we watch and the movies that we even make. Hidden Figures. Now, that was upsetting. That was real, but it was good. Because I don't ever, and people talk about, well, that's, if we had more movies like that, they'd be like, that's not real life. But isn't this supposed to be fantasy? Or is what they're showing us what's real? Just like the Cosby Show was not supposed to be realistic. I know plenty of black folks like that. Mm-hmm. We knew them when I was a kid. Folks owned their homes. So I think that there's a lot of stuff that's telling us, because remember, it's your mind, and that's why I was talking about this whole empath life. I think that all of us have empath abilities to a certain extent. Some of us are really woke to those abilities. Some of us who are not internalize that stuff, and then you get a guy like the shooter in Las Vegas. Wow. So, I used to be like, when I was younger, I couldn't understand all the hype about putting parental warnings and stuff on what people watch, but I kept my kid as long as I could, because it's not because she won't see it, but when should she have to see it? When should she have to? I know more Cosby families, Good Time families. We had one family in my family that lived in projects. One. And even they were like, that's when the projects was nice. They'd make the cover of the Sun Times because my aunt's planting a garden down 5 city blocks that has a vegetable garden type of project. Ghetto people. Yeah, we was hood. We used to set shit on fire, play in the playground, all that good stuff. Eat icy cups, pickles that turned our lips white, but we weren't getting shot at. You know. No people that were strung out on drugs were walking around us and people fighting over drug turf. That wasn't most people's reality. Even folks that lived in Inglewood and Chicago, Illinois. It's not their reality. You tell somebody you're from Chicago and they will be like, oh my God, everybody's dying there. No, bitch, not everybody's dying there. But there's enough folks dying there for me to leave. Because I just say, you know what? I want a better life. I want something like when I was a kid. But we keep, now Get Out was a horror movie. You know, that's the type of stuff that I had to go. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go to Get Out. There's a lot of movies I passed upon, but I couldn't let them brothers fail for telling that story. Because there's a lot of truth to that. I am quite sure. I'm quite sure they've only made a couple of our scientific experiments public because they know we burn down everything if we found out they were doing something like this. Because we are not our parents, and they will catch these hands, just like the T-shirt says. But you all watch what you put in, and if you can throw money behind black people who are writing stories about the way you live, about the gods you worship, about the magic you practice, because, everybody talks about Serpent and the Rainbow. I don't do any recommended movies for hoodoo and voodoo, probably other than Divine Horseman. Because they're all at one level of another full of shit, and people can't tell the difference. So what happens is we continue to be demonized for our beliefs. Now, let's talk about something else you put into yourself. American Horror Story. Let's talk about Coven. I was so hyped. But I want to know who the hell they were talking to, because even if you ask Sally Ann Glassman, she would not tell you that Papa Legba looked like that. So at the beginning of that series, they did this whole thing where they went around and talked to black people and white people in the voodoo community in New Orleans, and they gave them the scoop, and people kept it pretty, straight. Wasn't a lot of craziness. In fact, the most exciting part was, and I hope Mary Williams comes on here, Mary Williams, Priestess Miriam, was her part. That's when I knew what I wanted to do, because I just started working seriously, and I watched her as she went and just picked things off the shelf. That's why when we redid those jars, I didn't want the labels on the front, because I'm getting to the point where I can go and grab and know what I need. Okay? And she was mind-blowing to watch her just go in there and do what she had to do, set shit on fire. No books, no questions, no nervousness, moving with spirit. And then throwing those bones. Mm-hmm. I noticed also she had a scar on her arm, which is, I have to ask her about that when I go see her, because often people who had those ringer washing machines, kids would play in them and their arms would get caught in it, and they would have that. Huh?
I got my arm caught.
You got your arm caught in one too. What the hell was wrong with y'all? These damn baby boomers getting caught in washing machines. What the fuck made you say, I'm going to put my arm and let them roll me up?
It was
No, man. It's like wearing a necktie over a shredder. Elders aren't always smart, y'all, but they should be respected, okay? So, yes, I loved Coven up until, I was like, ooh, they're going to represent, this is going to be the shit. Yes. In fact, in my file that Kat Ironwood wrote about me, she talked about how I did Facebook commentary while watching American Horror Story Coven. Like, that was something interesting. But I was all in the cut. I was digging it. I even was willing to let a little of the poetic licenses go that they were taking with witchcraft and voodoo and Marie Laveau, because I'm like, this is really kind of fucking cool. Marie Laveau is badass. So I'm just going to let this go and enjoy this. And until they made it so you couldn't enjoy it. And people were like, oh, Liz, chill out. It's just TV. I'm like, no. You gotta understand. In voodoo, Papa Legba's like, Jesus, nobody gets to the spirits but through him. He's like the good guy, you know. In any depiction, he's an old brother with salt and pepper hair, holding a bunch of keys, holding your keys, and wearing red and black, or he sometimes they'll put a top hat on him, you know, but he's still wearing red and black, and he's not a skeleton. But even in the Catholic thing, he's lame. He's got crutches and he's got dogs next to him. He's probably one of the most beautiful spirits, you know, there is. But yet they went and decided, that's not good enough. We're not going to have Papa Legba come in on it. Well, you shouldn't have had Papa Legba doing baby trade in the first place, because it doesn't happen in voodoo. You know, it was just ridiculous. And after that, I was just kind of like, and then it came on, and every episode thereafter was pretty bad. You know, you got to see some stuff you liked to watch happen. But, you know, once again, even the good witch, you can't have a good witch. No. They can have Stevie Nicks show up and, you know, sing and all that cool stuff. But the one person who actually had some scruples, who across the board was like a decent individual, that's the one you let die. And people wonder why I can't watch this shit on television anymore. You know, I used to hate people because, I had my shows. Scandal was another one. It got to be too much. When Huck killed a bus full of witnesses or jurors, potential jurors, they hadn't even gotten on a case yet. And he just went and murdered them all. When he just started wilding out, I was just like, I can't watch this anymore. When stuff started also seeming a little too realistic, it's like, I can't watch this anymore. Because, you know, excuse me, when it's time for entertainment, if you ever take the time to be entertained, you want to be entertained. You want to be in a fantasy. I want to see a love story. You know, where are the black love stories? And I'm not talking about stuff like Love and Basketball and Jason's Lyric and Set It Off. Can I have just like a real damn love story? Not like that. Remember that guy? Oh God, he's so fine. He was the perfect guy, but he was really crazy. We can't even get a perfect brother. And then Idris is in some movie now where he's saving somebody white in the mountains. So Idris is in the mountains with a white girl saving her. Yeah, the Black Lives Matter one, when the boy was killed unjustly. I like how they cleaned house on that one. Unfortunately, though, it just showed how dirty people are. I mean, but my thing is, I'm not one for pretending like things don't happen. Just because I don't watch the news don't mean I don't know it. Love Jones, yeah. No. I want a regular ass love story. You know? So like, let's think about, no, the Notebook I heard was ridiculous. That's dysfunctional, codependent as hell. No. I heard enough about that movie to know that I could not afford to watch it because I could not afford to replace my TV when I threw something at it. It's not what the fuck I'm talking about. Well, maybe people just aren't enchanted by real life and real love anymore. Maybe that's our problem. That we just don't have the ability to enjoy what's good for us. Because I think that's what it is. Every piece of evil in the world comes from self-hate. Doesn't really come because they hate you. They don't like themselves, so they have to say something to make themselves feel good about somebody else so that they can continue to, exist But the reality of the matter is people don't love themselves. White people wouldn't be challenged by us if they really loved their whiteness. You know? If they really loved it and thought it was something worth holding on to, they wouldn't be the way they are. And that goes for anybody that acts a goddamn fool. When you're happy with who you are, you know, you can have good relationships. When you're happy with who you are, you can go and have nice, good relationships with people that you care about, like romantically. And even those breakups. So let's not even tell that lie. I don't believe in soulmates. I hate it. I cringe every time one of you people come. I almost called y'all name when reading talking about your soulmate. We're animals. We like to look even when we're taken. It takes effort to have a relationship because we are animals, guided by our desires. Now, is that an excuse for wrecking a committed relationship? Absolutely not. But know what you're capable of and what you're not capable of going into it. Some people, a lot of people, are capable of taking that effort and being faithful. But there's enough of us who don't. So stop expecting it. Instead of expecting something like that and getting your feelings hurt, and I'm not talking about positive thinking. Just be good in the moment. Be good till it ain't good. You don't have to have expectations, you know, because if the person goes, you're not gonna die without them. Remember that one that says, "Look at me, look at you living and shit. You thought you was gonna die. You ain't gonna die." If I didn't die when my mother died or when my cousin died, I most certainly am not gonna die because somebody left me. So yeah, choice to be monogamous. Okay. Yeah, you are still trying to find a real black love story because there are none. Name one that just is remotely normal.
What is normal?
What they say is normal. Come on now. Without some gang violence, number one, drug activity. The Notebook was dysfunctional. People like to suffer. That's why they like this stuff. Because there's nothing normal about any of these movies. Okay? But like, man, you know, especially with kids, baby boy, you got jokes. I'm going to hang up on you. How do I block you? I hate you, Jody. We don't put enough good things into ourselves. And we have followed the model of the oppressor because they like this shit, y'all. People don't understand. It's like, it's real simple. Why they were so horrible to us in slavery. Why they can go drop nuclear bombs on innocent civilians. Why they can give Agent Orange to their own soldiers. They like this. You know? And what's messed up, and y'all really need to start thinking about racial stereotypes, because what they did, the Cosby's, I'm talking about in a cinema, in a movie, you know, and I don't want to talk about Bill Cosby's ass because he canceled that out. That is, any positivity of that show is now negated. And if you believe that that man didn't do that to them women, or somehow, some way it was okay, it ain't never been okay to drug somebody. So you can scratch them off the face of the earth. And every single cast member that supported him. I know Lisa Bonet sitting in the cut, though, chilling and laughing because of the way he did her dirty. Chickens always come home to roost. You've seen it. It happens. That's why I'm like, try to be real careful. I try not to do something menacing to someone on purpose. You know, as a human being, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to hurt people's feelings. You're going to have accidents. But specifically to hurt somebody, to do something like that, you know, you got to be real careful about how you let yourself do that. And that's what I see a lot in these Conjure groups. That's the first thing we want to do. They want to come in. I've been in groups where all they talk about is hexing and cursing and getting back at somebody. And, you know, not about like Judica Isles says, leveling the playing field. Remember, I want to get that running start. So they don't talk about that. They always want to come in talking about hurting somebody, just like white folks want to go straight to goetic demons. You know, and that's because that's the lie you were told. You weren't told that witchcraft, their eyes were watching God. As much as I love that, nope. I said a love story, a successful, happily ever after. Why? He died. I'm going to block you too. Cut it out. Come up with something real. They let white folks live happily ever after since the Grimm brothers. And Grimm was not for kids. But Cinderella got to ride off. Her foot matched that shoe. You see how long there's been happily ever after and not in our stories? And
I don't think it's realistic.
You know, but the thing is, the happily ever after is not realistic. We know this. But why can't we have it in a movie just like everybody else does? That's my point. Why does everything have to be so debased? Why does everything have to be so hard all the damn time? That ain't entertainment. That ain't escape. And they're programming you the entire time you're watching it. So, watch what you eat with your eyes and with your mouth. Their Eyes was also a story about her finding real love. Self-love, yeah, but it was also about her finding real love, and that's why I'm saying, I'm talking about a love story. I don't care if it's 2 men, 2 women, shit. I don't care if it's a sister and a goat. I don't give a goddamn. They don't ever show us loving. And when we do love, with Old Yeller, didn't they have to shoot him? Yeah. Was it those black folks that had Old Yeller? Or was it white folks? Because I never watched it. You know, everything we get, they got to kill it, rape it, set it on fire, make it cheat on something. You know? Maybe Medea. But still, that I can't stand Tyler Perry, but that Tales of an Angry Black Woman. Okay, God, Jesus, here we go. You started off with a stereotype. And yeah, she got happily ever after without acting like a stone cold idiot. Because ain't no way, first of all, dude would have died. Her first husband, he'd have been laying up in there in his own shit, and they would have found him 3 weeks later. And I'd be in Puerto Rico somewhere sipping a drink. Okay? People die. I want a fairy tale. Some people have fairy tales. I know there's got to be at least one black couple that you can show this video to that has a story that we can tell somebody. So that our kids can see that normal, whatever, functional, let's not call it normal, non-dysfunctional even. Mm-hmm. Families exist because they do. It doesn't mean that don't have problems and you don't have kids that do teenage stuff. Because my daughter does teenage stuff, but she can tell you, I don't live in a dysfunctional household. I grew up in one. So these stories could be told, should be told. That's why I can't even find a deck of cards. That's why I can't wait for the stock to come up for the Dust to Onyx collection. That, what was that? Alexander? What's her first name? Courtney. Alexander's doing. Because I'm tired of looking at other folks when I'm doing divinations, or I have to reduce myself to other forms of things, imaginary characters, woodland creatures, and shit. Animals. I want to see something that looks like me. And so we are responsible for demanding and getting those types of things, like hidden figures. Our response was with our money. Take your money, and there'll be more talk about that in the future, to people who value black lives. Okay? And we're not talking about value all lives. No. Black and brown. Because it is very, very clear that everybody else's lives are valued. Only person I would think would be mad would be Asians, because they really don't do shit for Asian people. But Asian people don't seem to care, because they doing whatever they doing. They take it. Yeah, they doing their thing. So we need to start doing our thing. But I also think because we do like our TV and we like movies where we've been thoroughly westernized in that aspect, that's probably why Asians don't trip like that, because they don't watch TV like we do. Their parents didn't let them do that. Nope, didn't happen. When I see an Asian kid in public clowning their parent, I just stand there with my mouth agape. I'll just be like,
I don't think I've ever seen
oh, I saw it once. I was just like, where did it happen at? You've been here too long. I'll be like, it's time to go home. We gonna get back on the plane, boat, something. We going back home. Cause no. And that's what happens is we ruin generation after generation after generation, and we're ruining them by what we're feeding them. We're ruining them by the food they eat and by the media they consume. Everybody wants 101. Why don't somebody want some 102, 103? Y'all don't want to work no candles. Y'all don't want no containers. 101, 101, 101. God, Jesus. You know? That's why Asian money stays in their community longer than any other races. There ain't none of this racist, because you can go and get the stats, boo-boo.
That's what the lady told me. We only buy from our own.
Yes, yeah. That's an Asian woman told her that we only buy from our own. She was trying to sell her a product, and she came into her store, and the woman said, we only buy from our own. But let us say something like that. Okay? Let any one of us say something like that. See, if people call me a race baiter or whatever, let me check and see how, I don't even know how much time, my power I have left on my phone. And I got to go because I have a reading. But it's not race baiting. It's truth. There's probably, just like I quizzed you about a real good black love story in a functional situation. Okay? Yeah, they burned us down just like they did in Tulsa. You know, I quiz you. I ask you a question. Could you find one? And all these black folks consuming other black folks' media can't tell me one. So we're putting stuff in here. And for people who are using more than 2% of their brain, it affects us here. You know, in that heart chakra. So think about that. Family matters. Oh no, they had a kid that went upstairs and never came back downstairs. You remember that? When the little boy or the girl, the next to youngest, went upstairs one day, never came back. And they were just weird. They were weird. You know? That we don't have no Waltons. We have no Waltons. And you know, so I've known some black Waltons. They just all, yeah. Good night, John boy. Nope, because that doesn't sell. When people want to sell things with a black face, they always want to attach a lot of fuckery to it. Because that's what sells. So think about that every time you buy something, every time you read something, every time you say, ooh, that movie was so good. Think about all of the fuckery that you are now co-opting to. Okay? Yeah, that was cold. She just went upstairs one day and didn't even come back down, and nobody acted like she'd ever lived. Welcome to television. I want you to go and watch the Real Hollywood Story about Good Times and find out why Florida, character, Esther Rowe, who played Florida, and John Amos, who played James Evans, find out why they left that show. I'll give you a part of it. They were thespians. They were no longer really willing to put up with JJ's buffoonery. But the buffoon is what everybody loves. I have a reading, but I just wanted to tell y'all, you know, this is sick. We live in a sick place. But it's like self-inflicted. That's like me. I'm type 2 diabetic. I got it probably from stress. I had a nervous breakdown when I lost my house, my job, my car, and all that. Okay? But that's like me sitting down every single day and eating every single meal and not taking my insulin. That's what it's like. So, thank you. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the, JJ. Dynamite. And when we were little kids, it was funny. And I didn't think a thing about it until I saw that True Hollywood story, and they were like, and I realized that these people who I was a little kid and I thought they had come from the hood were these highly polished black actors. There's nothing white about being polished. It's just being polished. You know, we can be regal too. We can have standards too. And that's the problem. We have lowered our standards. We have lowered our standards in our care for the environment. I cannot tell you how many Negroes' houses I go to who do not recycle. We're supposed to be the closest to the land. Your asses need to be beaten. Even if it doesn't do any good, just try. It's like we overcompensate. Just like Flavor Flav. Instead of having a pocket watch, you put a clock in the middle of his chest. Instead of one gold tooth, what the hell is that? Instead of one gold tooth, you got a whole mouth full of them. You know, want to take something to make it an atrocity. That's not black. It ain't fashionable. I had one girl talking about the reason why we loved all this gold is because we was kings and queens of Africa. Wasn't everybody no damn king or queen? You got here, you were a slave in Africa, and that's how you got sold here by your fellow Africans. You wasn't no queen. You just gaudy. You know? And I ain't got nothing against some jewelry. I love cute things. But there is like this balance that is incredibly off that everybody needs to think about. But people keep on talking about when are black people going to unite? How are they going to be, get themselves together? You got to start pretty much here with this. With your mental conditioning about who you are, where you came from, what you are capable of. And yes, for children, we have to show them those examples. So if the examples are not on television, don't turn it on. Trust me, don't turn it on. Make the examples in your home. Now, unfortunately, most people are not going to do this, and you're going to have a weird-ass kid out walking around like mine. My child had never had Kool-Aid, and everybody was mad at me. Everybody black. They were like, what you talking about? Your baby ain't never had Kool-Aid. I'm like, no. She ain't never had a bologna sandwich. No. And I kept her from having it. So anyways, I'm going to go check on my kid, as a matter of fact. And if you all have children, go check on yours. Bye.